Hello YouTube, this is Jerry D in Tennessee. Let's talk about some, I don't know, there's some shady characters sometimes when it comes to penny stocks and even in crypto. It's, FTX scandal. But I'm going to talk today about a cannabis stock scandal that went on for a couple of years, and the gentleman that was the head of the whole thing is going to serve 10 years, at least 10 years in jail for what he's done. He had a pump and dump scheme, he and a buddy of his, and well, it's just sad that people out there take advantage of people. It's very easy. And I personally, I'm going to admit, I personally did think this guy was legit because I was in GNRF myself and a couple of other stocks that he was in, and I just thought he knew what he was doing, and he appeared to know what he was doing, and it's very easy to fall into that category. So this video is for educational purposes. The guy got caught, and that's good. He got caught because he heard a lot of people were following him, and his buddy got caught too. So let's go here and we'll look at this. All right, so I'm going to have a link to the tweets and everything. It's here in the description as always. I believe I had this on here. Yes, I think I do have that there. Okay. All right. I'm gonna leave you down in the description below the links to all this stuff that I'm gonna look at, and that way you can look at it for yourself. But beware of who you follow. There's a lot of people out there claim they can make you some money. A lot of them are trying to sell you a service to teach you how to make money. But you got to be careful with that too, because the money they may be making may be just off of their service that they're selling you. So just be careful. You got to realize that the stock market is a gamble when you get into stocks, when you buy into stocks, because the stocks don't always do what you hope for them to do or you think they're going to do. Sometimes they do the exact opposite of what you'd like them to do. And you got to be prepared to accept that. That's why a lot of, it's always been said, a lot of people will tell you on YouTube and other places, don't invest any money that you can't afford to lose. So it's always a risk. Any kind of investment like this is a risk. So anyway, so the Securities and Exchange Commission tweeted, "We charge Justin Costello for using a false persona as a Harvard-educated military veteran and hedge fund billionaire to defraud investors out of millions of dollars, and his associate David Ferraro for promoting the stock without disclosing their own sales of it." And they have this in a big, I don't know what this is about. As we allege in the complaint, Costello brazenly used fictitious accomplishments to win over investors and directed numerous manipulative stock promotion campaigns. In this case, highlights our ongoing efforts to protect investors from fraudsters posing as investment professionals and to safeguard the markets from social media schemes and other online fraud. So the SEC tries. There's probably many that you don't even hear about that's going on that don't get caught. But this guy definitely did get caught because a lot of people were complaining about it. They say he took a lot of people's money. I think it was $35 million scheme, a pump and dump scheme is what it ended up being. He was going to flee the country when they arrested him. So Securities Lawyer 101 busted. Right there's a picture of where they wanted by the FBI, where they posted that they were looking for him. October 4th, 2022, SEC defendant and FBI fugitive Justin Costello was arrested by an FBI SWAT team. Costello had been on the run from authorities as a fugitive since September 29th, September 29th, 2022. After failing to surrender to authorities after being charged with 22 counts of wire fraud and 3 counts of securities fraud as part of a $35 million financial fraud. So there's the whole article. I'm not going to read the whole article to you, but he had numerous websites. So this is what he had on him when they arrested him. He had stacks of money. He had gold bars. He had IDs. He had money. Looked like he was planning to go to Mexico. Just as assortment of stuff. So, I mean, he had a lot of cash on him. And just the gold bars, I guess the gold bars is probably worth quite a bit. I couldn't tell you how much was on him. It probably tells an article. I'm going to let you read it. I'm not going to bore you with it, but a few of the stocks that he was into was GRF was one of them. That is still a stock. It's a penny stock. They are a cannabis stock. HPST is another one. Hempstract, HPST. So do they list any more? FTXP was another one. RMSL. And CLSI, which is now OBCN. And here's the charts of where he was pumping. In 2019, they were pumping GRNF. You can see how it went up. A lot of people were buying into this, believing into this, and there's a lot of bag holders that were up here at the top that were buying in here, and then the stock went down to nothing. After he sold all his shares. He was selling his shares as people were buying in. He was selling his stuff, making his money. $35 million now off of everybody that was buying into this. HPST, same difference. It went up, had a sharp climb going up. He got up near a cent a share, right at a cent a share. Well, no. Looks like they're saying it was got up to $2.17 a share. And then it come back down, and there's people that were up here buying into this stock that are stuck in this stock now because it could have dropped down, and look, it's not doing anything. It's trading sideways. GNRNF was trading sideways. So, I believe they're still, you know, they've got a board of directors, everything for these companies, and these companies are still active. The stocks are still active on the stock exchange. They are. They had plans to really do cannabis business, but this guy just got involved. He ended up being on the board of directors for one of the cannabis companies, and his whole scheme was to pump it up and get out and leave. And he was going to try to leave the country before. So it's just sad that you have to worry about stuff like this. But if somebody's naive and they first get into trading stocks, you don't know. If you don't know these people, you don't have no idea. This is where they had the warrant out for him. But if you don't know them, it's good to do your research as much as you can. I mean, there's a lot of this stuff that goes on Twitter, and you just have to be aware of it. And you can make money on some of this stuff. I mean, when it goes up, I mean, if you know that this if somebody's tweeting about this stock, you start watching it's going up, you can make money. But the thing is you got to get out of this stock before it hits the peak, because when it starts dropping, you're taking a chance of getting getting stuck in the stock. There's a lot of people that were buying and selling into this as it was going up as well, and made money on this as it went up, and they sold. The wise ones sold out, got out of it instead of holding the stock. There's a lot of people that's held the stock thinking the stock's going to go on up, and it may over time. It's going to be, with the bad PR though, with the bad publicity, it's going to be hard for the companies to get the stock to turn around. I mean, if they get the right people involved and they're transparent and honest with their releases of news and stuff, they could possibly over time turn this stock around. These stocks around, a handful of stocks. COWPP was one of them. It got halted, and I think that stock is just completely dead. I think it was a shell. Was one of them. So, fake cannabis billionaire Justin Costello pleads guilty in $35 million fraud with recommended prison term of 10 years. Now, will he get off for good behavior? I don't know. So, prosecutors, federal court, they agreed to recommend a sentence of 10 years in prison for Costello, according to the plea agreement he signed with them. So he turned over evidence and just, he fessed up what he was doing. So he was apprehended in Southern California by an FBI SWAT team. So, Justin Costello, who posed as a billionaire and twice wounded Special Forces Iraq veteran to dupe investors while portraying himself as a legal cannabis mogul, pleaded guilty Wednesday with a security fraud. This was this past month, January 18th, Wednesday, January 18th. So they told him that they were probably going to give him more time in jail, and they probably told him, if you just plead guilty, we'll just give you 10 years. Else, we're going to probably put you into the maximum, maybe 15, 20 years is probably how they put it to him. And he just went ahead and said, I did it. So, Costello's guilty plea in federal court in Seattle came 3 months after an FBI SWAT team apprehended a 42-year-old in a remote area of Southern California carrying a backpack containing gold bars, $70,000 in U.S. and Mexican currency, and a fake ID. Days earlier, he had failed to surrender as agreed to face a 25-count indictment in the case. So he was going to run. They went after him. He probably paid bail to get out, and I guess whoever paid the fronted up, I guess he's going to be stuck paying that bail. I mean, probably a high bail fine because he ran. So I'm not going to read this whole thing, but there's his picture. That's the fella that was there. So, former Bellevue, Washington resident pleads guilty. There's another article here. United States Attorney's Office, Western District of Washington. A lot of people's down on the SEC, but SEC tries to stop people from getting taken by people like this. So, I mean, you get aggravated if they freeze these stocks, tradings on stocks and stuff, but sometimes they have a suspect like this and they're freezing the stock to stop people from buying into it and more people getting taken, and then they come down on these people. And a lot of times they do that. They do that just to try to catch these people. They're not going to arrest them until they got proof that it's going on. So here's the actual PDF about the complaint, the case. So David Ferraro was Computer Bucks. He had 10,000 followers on Twitter. Was retweeting Justin's tweets. He was putting out a lot of the tweets about Justin's stocks that Justin was buying into. Ferraro was probably pretty well into the same stocks as well. Had also bought in, was part of it. I think he probably turned over evidence about the stuff. I don't think he's got as much of a sentence. I think he got off lighter because Justin was the brains behind the whole thing. So Ferraro separately on January 2020 conducted his own stock promotion schemes with respect to 2 additional microcap stocks, generating profits of approximately $68,000. Man, that's like almost 2 years' pay for some people. Just make a minimum wage. That's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy, crazy, crazy. But I'm not going to read this whole thing to you. I'm going to leave the link if you want to look at it. Anybody that's interested in it, just beware that things like this is happening. Be careful who you follow on Twitter. Not everything is what it seems to be on the internet. Beware. Anytime you're on the internet, there's always something going on. There's always somebody trying to do something underhanded. So here's another article at the SEC that the SEC released on October 6, 2022. And here is some stuff where people were retweeting about him, about his arrest. CBC, NBC, I think I have that link up here somewhere, one of my links. Authorities said Justin Costello wove tall tales about Wall Street and Iraqi war experience as he duped investors in penny stock companies. Justin Costello. Here's where he went to Wall Street. He was on Wall Street and maybe just took a vacation up there and he got pictures took up there just to make himself look legit. So DCGD was the ticker that got changed to GNRF, and that's where he started his whole scheme from. So, I mean, a lot of these people can be looking legit. You know, you get some of these guys that's showing sports cars and stuff, and I've made all this money in the stock market. They could pretty much look. And here's Alex DeLarge, who also got charged. He even ended up with a lesser. I don't think they really did anything to him. He might have paid a fine or something. I don't think he can trade stocks anymore, but I did a previous video about Alex DeLarge. And I think he got caught up. Alex got caught up in the Justin Costello and Computer Bucks thing on Twitter. And he was just along for the ride. He was doing a lot of stuff, and it was just all bad. I mean, it's I hate to talk about these guys because I've seen their tweets on Twitter and stuff, but truth is truth. Reality is reality. So You know, this guy's got to face it. I mean, he don't look like he's a crook or whatever. But just looking at his pictures and stuff, and then you go look at when he goes to Wall Street. Let's go back down to where his Wall Street pictures were, right there. I wonder if that's in his old account. No, I think this guy took snapshots, I think. But New York Stock Exchange, I think he was claiming he got to ring the bell, the start bell. He might have been able to ring the bell. I don't know. I don't remember really, but you know, they post stuff like this and start looking legit, and you can get stuck in stocks when they go up. When the stocks go up like that, it's just crazy. So he even had articles saying they were going to be delivering cannabis by drone, you know, like Amazon. So it's crazy. GRN Holdings, which was GNRF. They were signing a non-binding letter of intent to purchase drones for a business-to-business delivery, marijuana delivery service. I mean, GRN CEO Justin Costello expects the company to begin making test deliveries in Seattle as soon as February or March. None of that come to fruition that I know of. The companies are still there. I believe they're still planning on distributing marijuana, but I've not kept up since he ran and stuff and disappeared out of the scene. I quit watching the stocks. But this is his buddy David Ferraro's site, Twitter site. He deleted his website. But if you can imagine, you got 10,000 followers and they're all trading, 10,000 people trading the same stock. What can you do to a stock price? That's how these guys do it. You can spot these guys. You can go do searches if you have a brokerage like E-Trade. And I did a video of probably over 2 or 3 years, maybe 2 years ago. Might not be that long ago, but I know I did a video on stock. I'm using the stock screener on E-Trade. And you can go find the spikes early in the morning. The thing is that when it's already spiked, it's too late to buy into it. But you can go out, look at the spike, look at the ticker that spiked, go out here to Twitter, do a $sign in the ticker symbol, and find out who's tweeting about the stocks. Find these guys that's got the high followers. And these guys, if you start watching these guys and following what they're tweeting about, you can catch these stock spikes. But again, you can get stuck very quickly. This is part of how Tim Sykes has made some of his money, is he's been watching these people promote the stocks like this and tweet. And but you got to be in and out quick. I mean, the stock spike. I mean, if you go back, where was it? I think it was this article. I mean, if you see how quick it goes up, the stock, you've got to be fast when it spikes. And it could fall just as fast. I mean, it started dropping right here, and Justin was probably dumping his stock here. And then after Justin dumped his stock, the rest of them, it just dropped like a rock right here. Up a little bit here, and just kept falling. And a lot of people probably right in here was getting scared, was just getting out of it because they're like, I'm going to get stuck in the stock. But like this one right here, it went straight up and then fell straight down. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful. But this was Computer Bucks, David Ferraro's Twitter account. The internet does not forget. And I'm going to leave a link to this if you want to look at his account, his tweets. But the internet does not forget. So RVDO. RVDO, $500 plus GRNF. Right there's one of his tweets for GNRF. RVDO. Material definitive agreement. This is going to be good. Bath bombs, wines, etc. Wonder how many purchases orders they have already. So, there's Justin doing a video. Let's play it. Let's listen to him.
About the products that we were developing. The team consists of scientists, financiers. I put a team together that had expertise really in the industry, but more importantly that cared about the product and the plant and cared about the products that we were developing. The team consists of scientists, financiers, operators, production people, but most important is people who care about the products and the customers it serves.
So, I mean, they make it. It's sad. It's sad. But that's David Ferraro's account, Computer Bucks. He has long been deleted after all this started. It was probably part of his agreement that he wouldn't be on Twitter anymore, that he wouldn't be in the stocks anymore. Justin was the brain behind the whole thing, the whole pump and dump, pump and dump scheme. He was the brains behind it. So it's sad, but you get 10,500 followers, 65,000 tweets, 84,000 likes. Of these people that wasn't even following him, that was following his followers, that were retweeting his tweets. That's a lot of people watching the same stocks and trading on the same stocks. And if you can imagine, I mean, if you get like 10 times 10,000, 10 people out of 10,000, I mean, it's a lot of people trading the stocks and making it move like it did. But it's sad. It is sad that stuff like this goes on. You have to worry about it, but just be wary, be careful. Again, keep what's important. Keep the clothes on your kids. Don't let those little ones run around naked. Keep food on your table. Keep a roof over your head. Keep your lights on. It's just don't invest anything you can't afford to lose. And am I telling you to go out and find these scamsters and try to trade on them? No, I'm not. I really, to be honest, this is a very serious risk. It's no better than going to a blackjack table and betting, or on a roulette wheel and trying to bet money on a roulette wheel. These guys that are pumping and dumping are the ones that's going to win. They are the house, and they're going to win every time. So, except when they get caught by the SEC, and then, well, they're just put out of circulation for a while. But it's just a sad situation. Now, this is not that guy's. This is not David's picture. He did not ever post his real picture on here. So, anyway, it's just sad. I just wanted to put this out there as an education. You just need to be careful. Just there's a lot of deception. There's a lot of deception out there in the stock markets. FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried. With the recent crypto stuff, you just got to be careful. Watch what you're doing. Be careful, because there's a lot of wolves out there trying to take your money, and a lot of times you're just handing your money over to them. Okay, so just doing this as a public service, just to keep people informed that stuff like this happens, and you just got to be aware of it. Beware of this. So anyway, thanks for watching my video. I just thought I had to make this video because I was watching this guy's tweets. I was watching the tweets from Justin Costello. I tried to find his account. I can't remember what his account was. He was really, really, really picky who he allowed to follow him and stuff. So, and I wasn't one of them that was following him. But I was interested in stocks because I believed in the cannabis stocks like Rocky Mountain High. I still believe in Rocky Mountain High. I've ordered that in the past several years ago and just tried it. It's just like on Temu. I did a video on Temu. I went out, I looked at the stock for the company, find out if they were on a stock ticker. And I'm like, okay, so let's see what the stock price is. And I found out that, dang, they're getting up there around where, on Amazon land on their prices. And so I just turned around and bought some product just to see if I could actually order from the company. And 7 days I had my money gun and my movie money, $100,000 of movie money. Anyway, yeah, don't trust these promises, especially these guys are saying this is going to hit $100 in 6 months. This is going to hit, this might hit $10. If it's a penny stock, this is going to hit $10 in about 6 months. They don't know what the stock's going to do. They're just pumping it. They're probably in it, and they're tweeting just to get the price up. So be careful of what you're trading, and just watch yourself when you're out there. It's a lot of deception going on out here in these stocks. So anyway, just want to put this out there just so people's aware of this, and I appreciate you watching the video. Hopefully we'll see you in the next video. Looks like the stock markets are trying to turn around. Looks like the Shiba's back up, and looks like Shibarium's around the corner. So I'm looking at maybe doing another video on that and talk about Shibarium a little bit. So anyway, everybody have a good night, and I hope you're having a good week, and I hope the weekend coming up will be a good weekend for you. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye. Bella's got to be right up under me, don't you, Bella? Oh, my word. Cloudy day. Looks like it may rain. Clouds out over the valley. East Tennessee Valley. And Bella, she's just happy to be around.